Before we begin, if this is your first time here, welcome to Still Missing. We dig into the world's most haunting, unsolved cases. New episodes every week. Subscribe so you don't miss a single case. On the morning of December 1st, 1948, a man's body was found on Somerton Beach in Adelaide, Australia. He was well dressed, clean-shaven, and appeared to be in good physical condition. He was lying against a seawall as if he had simply fallen asleep. But he was dead, and no one knew who he was. Every label had been removed from his clothing. He carried no wallet, no identification, no personal documents of any kind. His fingerprints matched no records in Australia or anywhere else in the world. No one came forward to report him missing. No one recognized his face. An autopsy was performed, but the cause of death could not be determined. His organs showed signs consistent with poison, but no known poison was found in his system. The coroner concluded that he had died from an unidentifiable substance, a poison so rare or so unusual that it could not be detected by any test available at the time. This is the Tamam Shud case, one of the most baffling, unsolved mysteries in Australian history. A man with no name, no identity, and no explanation for how he died. Investigators began their work by tracing the man's belongings. His clothes were high quality but had every single label carefully removed, not torn off hastily, but neatly cut with scissors or a blade. This was deliberate. Someone, either the man himself or someone else, had gone to great lengths to make sure he could not be identified through his clothing. In his pockets, investigators found a bus ticket, an unused train ticket to the coastal suburb of Henley Beach, a narrow aluminum comb, a packet of juicy fruit chewing gum, and a packet of Army Club cigarettes. But the cigarettes inside were actually a different brand, Kensitas, placed inside the Army Club packet. No money, no keys, no papers, nothing that could identify him.
The investigation expanded. Police published photographs of the dead man in newspapers across Australia and sent his fingerprints to authorities in Britain, the United States, and through Interpol to agencies around the world. No match was found anywhere. His dental records were compared against records in Australia. Again, nothing. He appeared to be of European descent, possibly British, based on his physical features and the style of his clothing. He was estimated to be between 40 and 45 years old, around 5 feet 11 inches tall, with hazel eyes, ginger brown hair, and notably well-developed calf muscles, suggesting he was either a runner or a dancer or spent significant time on his feet. Despite the massive publicity surrounding the case, not a single person in Australia or anywhere else in the world came forward to identify him. Months after the discovery of the body, investigators made a breakthrough, or at least they thought they had. A small, tightly rolled piece of paper was found hidden inside a concealed pocket in the man's trousers. The pocket was so small and so well hidden that it had been missed during the initial examination. On the paper were 2 printed words, Tamam Shud. The phrase is Persian, and it translates to, "It is ended," or "It is finished." Investigators traced the words to their source. They came from the final page of a book called The Rubaiyat of Omar Khayyam, a collection of Persian poems that had been translated into English and become widely popular in the early 20th century. The specific phrase, Tamam Shud, appears at the very end of the book, after the final poem. Someone had torn out the last page and placed it in the dead man's pocket. The rest of the book was missing. Police launched a public appeal, asking anyone who owned a copy of the Rubaiyat with its final page torn out to come forward. Remarkably, a man did. A local businessman reported that he had found an extremely rare edition of the Rubaiyat, a copy published in New Zealand during the war, in the back seat of his unlocked car, which had been parked near Somerton Beach around the time of the death. The final page of the book had been torn out, matching the scrap found on the body. But the book revealed something even more puzzling. On the back cover, someone had penciled a sequence of capital letters, apparently a code. The sequence read WRGOABABD, then MLIAOI, then WTBIMPANETP, then MLIABOAIAQC, and finally ITM Sam's Gap. Beneath the letters was a local phone number. For over 75 years, cryptographers, intelligence analysts, amateur code breakers, and computer scientists have attempted to crack this code. None have succeeded. It does not match any known cipher system. Some analysts believe it is a one-time pad, an unbreakable encryption method used by spies during the Cold War. Others think it may be the first letters of words in a message or a personal shorthand. The code remains unsolved to now. The phone number on the back of the book was traced to a woman living in the area. Her name was never officially released by police, but she was later identified by researchers as Jessica Thompson, a nurse. When shown a plaster cast of the dead man's face, Thompson reportedly became extremely distressed but denied knowing him. She told police she had once owned a copy of the Rubaiyat and had given it to a man named Alfred Boxall, a former soldier she had met during the war. Investigators tracked down Alfred Boxall and found him alive and well, with his copy of the Rubaiyat completely intact, including the final page. He was not the dead man. Thompson clearly knew more than she was telling, but police at the time did not press her further, and she refused to discuss the case for the rest of her life. She died in 2007, reportedly asking her family never to reveal what she knew about the Somerton man. The connection between Thompson and the dead man deepened when investigators discovered that Thompson had a son, born in 1947, 1 year before the Somerton man's death. Some researchers noted that the boy shared unusual physical characteristics with the dead man, including a rare ear shape and dental features found in only about 2% of the population. This led to widespread speculation that the Somerton man may have been the boy's biological father, and that his death may have been connected to a personal relationship with Thompson. The Cold War spy theory became the most popular explanation over the decades. In 1948, Adelaide was home to a number of sensitive military and intelligence operations. The nearby Woomera rocket range was a classified testing site. Several known Soviet intelligence operatives were active in Australia during this period. The deliberate removal of all identifying labels, the use of an undetectable poison, the coded message, the rare book, and the complete absence of any identity, all of these pointed toward the tradecraft of professional espionage. If the Somerton man was a spy, he may have been killed by a rival agency, or he may have taken his own life to avoid capture. Others have proposed simpler explanations. The man may have been a jilted lover who traveled to Adelaide to see Thompson one last time before ending his own life. The torn page it is finished could be read as a suicide. In 2021, South Australian police authorized the exhumation of the Somerton man's body for DNA analysis. The remains were sent to a forensic laboratory for modern genetic testing. In 2022, Professor Derek Abbott of the University of Adelaide, who had spent over a decade investigating the case, announced that DNA analysis and genealogical research had identified the man as Carl Webb, an electrical engineer born in Melbourne in 1905. Webb had been married, but his wife had obtained a restraining order against him before their divorce. He appeared to have drifted out of contact with his family and acquaintances in the years before his death. However, this identification has not been universally accepted. Some researchers dispute the methodology and argue that the identification is not conclusive. The cause of death remains unexplained, the code remains unbroken, and the full story of why Carl Webb, if that is who he was, ended up dead on a beach in Adelaide with a torn page from a Persian poetry book in his pocket has never been told. What makes the Tamam Shud case so endlessly fascinating is the sheer density of its mysteries. Every answer leads to another question, A dead man no one could identify. A poison no one could detect. A code no one could crack. A book with its last page torn out. A woman who knew the truth but took it to her grave. And 2 words hidden in a secret pocket that translate to, "It is finished." Even now, after a possible identification, the case is far from closed. We may know his name, but we still don't know how he died. Why he died, what the code means, or what really happened on Somerton Beach on that summer morning in 1948. Some cases give you answers if you dig long enough. This one just gives you more questions. If you have any information about this case, or expertise in cryptanalysis, the Somerton Man Code remains an open challenge to codebreakers worldwide. Next week, Los Angeles, 2013. A young woman checks into one of the most notorious hotels in America. Days later, guests complain about the water. When maintenance checks the rooftop tank, they find her body inside. But it's the elevator footage that made the world lose sleep. The Elisa Lam case. Don't miss it. The code on the back of that book has never been cracked. Cipher experts, intelligence agencies, amateur codebreakers, all failed. Do you think it's a real code, a meaningless scribble, or something else? Let me know in the comments. Share this with someone who loves a good mystery. And if you haven't subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? This is Still Missing. Some cases never close.